All right, we're back for another quick take on EV charger rebates. Let's see what we got going on this time in the state of Georgia. So, as most of you, or many of you know, probably not most of you, a lot of you know that's where we're based. We're Stain Charge is based out of St. Simons Island, Georgia. So we're very well familiar with the Georgia programs, and the Georgia programs are decent. Okay, we got a pretty good programs going in the state of Georgia. We've got a lot of places putting stuff in where we're saving up to 90% on level twos and a good 75% or more on the DC fast charging. So good programs right now while the money lasts. So we'll take it from the top. The state of Georgia Department of Revenue does have a program for $10,000 tax credit. Downside, it does cap at $2,500 per plug, I believe that is. So not bad on a DC on a level 2 side, right? Because we're not. I mean, hopefully you're not spending $25,000 for a single level 2 charger. If you are, you're in a not sure where you are, but if you're spending that kind of money, you better call me right now. Cancel that contract and call me, because if you're spending $25,000 for a single charger, you got a problem. Level 2, like you got somebody. Unless there's extreme circumstances on getting the power to that charger, that's a very expensive charger. But anyway, the tax credit's there, $2,500 per charger, 10% of your cost. So it's the lesser of the two. If you spend 10 grand, you're going to get 1,000. If you spend 25,000, you're going to get 2,500. Not a bad deal. So 10% of your project cost, pretty good deal. We've done a lot with that. So the state's got that. Then you get into your power companies. The biggest one is Georgia Power. They have basically 2 programs available that are out there for the level 2 side. And those are both, one is a rebate. So the first rebate program is a program that will give you $250 per kilowatt of rated power on your charger. So good deal here, right? So now you put a charger in, if you put 11.5 kW, let me do the math here. I should know this off the top of my head, as many as we've done, but 250 times 11.5, you're $2,875 per charger. We've actually started doing the 19.2s everywhere. So we can get $4,800 per charger, per plug. But basically, so we get to, per plug of that rated power. So, not a bad deal, right? So that's pretty good money that we can get there. The other program they have is a free make ready program. Under the free make ready program, they will come in and they'll do everything, all the work to bring you in a new power supply dedicated to your EV chargers. So whatever that takes, if that's cutting through your parking lot, they'll do the directional drilling or the cutting, the cut and patching, whatever it is, they're going to do it all. They'll design it, they'll engineer it, they'll get the permits, they'll put it all in, they'll put all the wire in, breakers, boxes, everything, and pull the wires to where your charger is going to be installed. And there you go. You take it from there. You buy the chargers for the little, the pads to mount them on and install your chargers. That's on you. So that's not a bad program either. You want to weigh those two out. Typically we do is we'll look at both options. The downside to the free make ready program, I will tell you, is you have to put in 6 chargers. So while it's a good program to get your electrical work done, downstream, you now got 6 chargers that may have to be on software and maintained. So you got to be careful on that side of it. But there's a trade-off there that we look at every time. How much is it going to cost to get the power installed? And if it gets to over a certain level, then you do the make ready program. If it stays under a certain level, you stay with the $250 per kilowatt hour. Both of those programs, so that the kilowatt hour program, you submit that, they review it, they approve you, you go get everything done. install your, send them in your invoices and they'll cut you a check. The Make Ready program, a little easier as far as what you have to do. You submit the application, they'll look at it. If they agree they're going to do it, they take it from there. They work with you on where you want to place everything, but then they get everything going. They'll get it installed, get it permitted, signed off on. And once it's signed off on, they, basically hand the project over to you. You pour your concrete pads, install your chargers, and that's it. So good program either way. And the last thing in Georgia on level 2 is EMC Cobb EMC. Not I do know EMC covers a lot of different areas as a power company in the state of Georgia, but the Cobb version, so it's basically in Cobb County. They do $500 to $5,000 per plug. It is determined after you submit your application. Didn't dig in deep to know exactly how that works. Don't know exactly how, they just come back and tell you, oh, you're approved for this. Obviously, the more you serve a community, the less charging that's around you, the higher the rebates they're going to give you. You submit it for approval, they approve it. You have so many days to get your chargers installed and your information back, and then they cut you a check. So level 2 side in Georgia, again, we've got properties going in, they're 10%, right? $15,000, $20,000 for level 2 charging, and it's costing them $2,000 at the end of the day. So really a great state, level 2 charging, especially when you qualify for the 30C. One little note on the 250 per kW. That's why, I want to clarify that 250 per kW is capped at 50% of your cost. So they will not, they'll give you that 250, but it stops at 50% of your cost. So, but when you take that 50%, then you got 10% tax credit from the state and 30% from the federal government. That's where we're getting to 90% at locations. Now on the DCFC side, same tax credit there. Yeah, not great on a DCFC side because 10%, capped at that $2,500 per charger, but at least it's something. You put in a couple chargers, you're getting $5,000 in tax credit. The power company now, you look at those. So the Georgia Power, they have 2 programs again, but on the DC side, they've lowered that per kilowatt rate to only $150 per kilowatt hour, per kilowatt rated kilowatt. So in that instance, right, you're looking at, if you got a $200 or 200 kilowatt charger that you're installing, you're only getting 150 times that. So you're going to get $30,000 for that 250 kilowatt charger. So, or that 200 kilowatt charger. So when I look at that, right, the retail price on a 200 kilowatt charger might be $65,000. So you're only getting like half of the cost of your charger in that, and you still got to cover all the Make Ready. But they also do the Make Ready program under the DCFC, and you're not required to put in 6 DCFC chargers. So the DCFC, you can go with 1 as long as it's a big enough charger. So in that program, that's often the better program, right? If you think about it, if Georgia Power is going to come in and do everything to get your charger, get you ready to install a charger, other than pour some concrete pad for it and buy the charger for you, that same 200 kW charger that costs us $65,000, they've covered everything else. You get your 65. If you're 30C, you're getting 20 something, 18, almost $20,000 back on your tax incentive there, and you're going to get 5,000 or 2,000 from the state, right? You got, so all good, right? Brings your cost down. You're looking at, 40 some thousand, 50 some $1,000 total investment. Finance that, you look even better. In fact, we just inked a deal with a convenience store off of I-75, and they're looking at a $1,200 a month payment. That's it. $1,200 a month. And they're probably, based on what we looked at, they're projected to do over $100,000 a year in charging revenue. So you see, with all that stuff, it's not bad. That's because they had all these incentives coming back. If we weren't getting all this, all this stuff wasn't covered for them, right? And they had to buy that infrastructure and everything. You're talking about, you're talking about a $4,000, $5,000 a month payment. So these are all good. Last piece on DCFC in Georgia, Cobb EMC does have a program. It's basically the same as their level 2. They said they'll give you 500 to 5,000, depending on it. So, not going to run out. We're not knocking on doors of gas stations in Cobb County to try to get them on the EMC program. However, we are knocking on the doors on gas stations in the rest of the state that are on Georgia Power, because if you've got the opportunity today to take advantage of what's there, like, you need these. If you've got a convenience store, especially on the major thoroughfares, if you're on those major highways and you're a convenience store, you're going to need these anyway. So you might as well get them while you can save 75%, 80%. So anyway, Georgia's a good program. Check it out. Again, anytime you got any questions, you want any, we do free assessments, just hit us up, sales@stayincharge.com. Go to our website. You'll see we've got all the stuff there where you can fill it out, get your free assessment. We'll take a look at it for you. So that's all for Georgia. And we'll see you on the next quick take, where we jump into the next state.